Hey, my name is Lizzie Smiley, and I absolutely love helping people connect with their calling and all the tools they need to kick roadblocks and excuses right out the door so they can cultivate the life they dream about. If you want to launch, grow, pivot, or scale your Etsy shop, or you've always wanted to develop the mindset and skills to run your own business, then I'm your girl. I've had that entrepreneurial spirit going strong since my very first lemonade stand, and now I'm a work-at-home mama with multiple online companies and a full-time Etsy shop, all while being present with my kids for the everyday chaos and most important milestones. On this podcast, we'll talk about all things business, mindset, Etsy, creativity, dazzling our customers, and so much more. There's plenty of room at this table for you, so scooch on in and let's go. I'm holding nothing back. Welcome to How to Sell Your Stuff on Etsy. I'm so glad you're here. Smile. Welcome back to the show today, everyone. In case you didn't know, we do these on YouTube now, so you can go check us out. That's why I said smile. If you're not watching, you're listening, I have a special guest on the show today. My husband, Chris, is joining us.
Howdy, everybody.
Say hi. Good job. He said hi. Chris does all of the sign construction and boxing for our Etsy shop. Thank goodness. I'm extremely grateful for him. My fingers could not handle all of it.
You do fine, but I'm happy to take it on.
He's super wonderful. And so we thought today it would be really fun and interesting. I'm sorry, you guys, this is like a new background. I'm just really enjoying it. Okay, I'm going to focus. Thanks, hubby, for the big... We weren't going to be able to fit behind the tiny one I usually use, but I think I'm just going to use this one now. And now I promise I'm going to get on task. Okay, so this is more freeform today. So we thought it would be fun if we did some reminiscing down memory lane, and we're going to tell you guys the story of our very worst days in our Etsy shop.
I was like, reminiscing was an interesting word choice.
We sat down to make this list, and I mean, at least we can laugh about it now. But the very worst days, and so it's beneficial. We're going to tell you what we learned from them, and maybe it'll help you either avoid some of the mistakes we made, or maybe it'll give you some tools for problem solving, troubleshooting when things come up for you, or maybe you can just laugh at us and feel better about your crappy day. Like maybe that'll work. So anyway, we're excited to share with you, but it's going to be more freeform. I know you're probably used to me. I mean, I'm probably still going to talk ridiculously fast,
and I will not,
and he will not, which will be fun. And we should tell them. Okay, so we obviously listen to podcasts like the majority of the world, and he listens to everything on like double or triple speed.
1.5 times.
Okay, well, to me, I cannot, which is hysterical.
Except for you.
So this is what I was going to tell you, is that he can't listen to me that fast.
It's like listening to the Chipmunks. I listen to her at 1.5 speed. Anyone else, I could listen to at 1.5 speed.
And okay, so anyway. So I know, so that was my way of saying I'm sorry for talking so fast. / if you're anything like him, you're welcome, because now you don't have to speed me up. But anyway, so today is storytelling day, and I'm going to do the first one because it's by far my worst / best day ever on Etsy. Okay, so here's what happened. So a number of years ago, a customer ordered one of our large signs. So we make some that go above a bed or maybe above a couch, 45 by 21 inches. And you can order them reclaimed wood, or you can order them in new wood. And then they're painted off white for like a farmhousey clean look. And then I paint the lettering on it, right? So this woman ordered a large above bed sign, and she chose the new wood, which wasn't super common, but it was an interest. I added them because it was a pricing strategy, so that I priced the new wood ones less than the reclaimed wood ones, so that I would show up higher in the search results. So little tip for those of you: if you can add another option to your product that is at a lower price point, Etsy's going to show it as a lower price point in the feed. And you can then usually what'll happen is people will get the more expensive one anyway, but they'll look at yours earlier because it has the lower price. So just a little pro tip for you. So most people order the reclaimed wood ones, but some people order the new wood ones, and that was fine. And we wanted to give it like a shiplap effect, right? So painted white. And so, okay, but the wood, even though it was new, no matter how many coats of paint, thick chalk paint that I put on these signs, the kind of yellowy...
It was the oil. It was the oil of the wood.
Oh.
That was what was bleeding through. It was cedar. it was a darker cedar. It was much darker than this wood.
Well, it's reclaimed wood. Much prettier.
And the oil was seeping through, and so you saw staining and tea staining.
It looked like tea staining, which on the reclaimed wood always looked charming. I don't know why it was so different. It always looked beautiful. In fact, people would pay extra for it. But on the new wood, they're looking for a more contemporary, clean, sleek shiplap look, and the darn oil from the new wood was ruining my signs. So the first workaround for this was I would use like a
oil-based paint. Oh, no, oil-based.
A primer.
An oil-based primer.
I was trying to think, you guys, because initially we tried like a lacquer first. I would just like do a polyurethane, but that didn't work and the paint didn't stick well. And we tried a spray. We ended up getting primer that was oil-based. Okay.
Stain blocking.
And that worked.
It did. But...
Except that worked. No more tea stains when we did that. And so I did that for a number of signs. I mean, it wasn't like this was the first one. So, okay, so that's the backstory. So the sign goes out and the woman gets it and she loves it. I get like the best 5-star review, one of them, of my career. You're so funny on camera. And it's glowing. It's this beautiful. So I am just like doing my happy dance because the bigger signs make more money. I'm happy. The customer's happy. We're moving along. I've got a great review, which means I'm going to show up in the feed to more buyers and my sign is going to be shown for more people. It was a good day. And then about a month goes by and all of a sudden, out of nowhere, that review is changed. So I get a notification from Etsy, your review, so-and-so left a review. Well, it was the same review. It was updated to 1 star. I'm having a panic attack.
She was.
And so then, so the same stuff was there. And then it was one of those, like, you know how they'll, on Amazon or whatever, they'll write update, like star, update, star. And then it was said, this sign gave off the worst smell. It was atrocious. We couldn't live with it. We had to move it out in the garage and now it's worthless. Okay. So she did not message me. Totally fine. She just went out and changed the review. Well, so I go and I DM her because that's what you always do when you get a bad review. Is the first thing you do is you go DM them, because if I respond to the review, then neither of us can update it. So pro tip, do not respond immediately on a review. That's bad. Go DM it first and see what you can do. Well, actually what I did, and this would be controversial. Okay. Plenty of sellers would be like, this isn't your fault. It was a month later. You don't know, whatever. My thing is, we always take care of the customer. I want the customer to have a great experience, and I will do kind of whatever it takes to make that happen. And I can do that because I have an established shop. I have a lot of great reviews. I already know that is going to be very, 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 very rare that I'm going to have any loss because I took care of a customer. So that's my choice. That's what I do. So I immediately completely refunded the sign before I even reached out to her. And then I DM'd her. So I refunded, $200. And I said, just super apologetic. I am so sorry to hear this. We have never gotten this feedback before. True. Never gotten it before. That would upset me so much too. I have a sensitive nose. I'm so sorry. I have refunded the entire thing back to you. Please do what you like with it. You don't have to send it back to me. And I would love to make you another piece on the house, or what can I do, kind of thing. So then she goes back in and updates it again, back to 5-star. And just would, and I did take a hit for it, but at the same time, when I'm weighing it out, first of all, it's not like it was her fault. The sign was giving off fumes. Like, that's not fun for your bedroom. That's not healthy. That's not okay. So it turned out great in the sense that she updated the review and said, this seller is top notch. She will take care of you. She completely made this right. I would totally trust her again. And we ended up, actually, I never told this part of the story before, because some of you have heard this other part. So she ended up actually putting in another order for another smaller sign just to thank me for taking care of her. And she ordered one that had a stained frame. And so I actually also refunded that one. And she's all like, you don't have to do that. I'm like, I really want to take care of you. And I was like, but we need to have a conversation, because if you're sensitive to smells, the stain might linger and bother you. Like, stain tends to linger. So she changed it to painted. But it was so funny because then I was just, Yeah.
a little nervous
A
about
little-
what you were going to send to her, and when she opened the box, if she still wanted it.
Absolutely. But the fun thing, so the reason we're sharing this story, other than the fact that it's funny and I was dramatic and it turned out great and it's got all these different lessons, is that it ended up making us completely revisit our new wood big sign.
Right. I think, sometimes necessity breeds innovation, right? So
I wasn't getting that feedback again.
It made me look at a different way to do it. And I found an actual shiplap that was sold. So it was a different solution to the same product. And it ended up being faster.
Yeah,
it
way
ended up
better.
having a better look.
Mm-hmm.
That really matched better with what I think that clientele was looking for.
Yeah, super clean.
It was easier for me to work. It was easier for you to paint. And overall, I think it cost the same money, or maybe slightly less.
That's what I was wondering, is what did it cost?
I think it was about the same or slightly less.
Amazing.
But you learn from those mistakes. So I think it was great.
I'm just telling you, when that 1-star review came in, I'm just so glad I could turn her around.
It was not a great day for me either. She got a 1-star review.
My therapist here had to contend with that. Okay, so take it. I probably drew that story out longer, but if this is the case, like classic Lizzie. So take the next story.
Well, that was your worst day. I think my worst day was a series of days over a period of time.
I know where he's going.
And so for those of you that don't know, I am building these signs by hand, using power tools, but we don't have a machine making them. I'm making them. And we sand the faces of these reclaimed wood signs, and actually many of the newer wood signs, to make them smooth so that they're easier to paint. And it gives a nice texture. Again, it gives it a nice, what do they call that?
Finish?
It's not a finish. It's like
grain?
No, it doesn't matter.
He hates it when I try to guess what he's trying to do.
Yeah. So it's not the point of the story. But the sanders, again, we're using them in industrial application, if you think about it.
Yeah.
And we had a weekend where we had a lot of signs to build. And
what's a lot? Like 40, 30, 40?
It was going to take me probably 12 hours of building over the weekend. And again, I'm doing this at night and on the weekends. I have a full-time job during the week. And we have a family and we have other obligations. And so this isn't something that it was like, oh, it was a light week of 10 hours for the whole week. It was a heavy weekend of 10 hours over a weekend. And so I used to buy my tools from a store that it really isn't around much anymore, but it was supposed to be a heavy duty sander, and it broke. It just stopped working. And that happens sometimes. Our tools break. You probably need to build that into your budgeting.
Of course.
Is replacing pieces, and they always break at the time you don't
convenient
want them
time.
Yeah. So this sander broke, and I went and bought another one, and they weren't cheap. I was buying an inexpensive one for what they were. It was $150.
We were still just
we didn't have enough money. We didn't have it in the
Yeah.
budget to go buy another sander, but there was no way to sell these without going. So we made the sacrifice. I went and bought the sander, and I think I bought it Saturday morning, and it broke again the next day. It didn't last 48 hours, and it stopped again. I boxed it up. I walked back to that store. I didn't walk. I drove back to that store and asked them for a replacement, and they gave me a replacement, and that one lasted about a month.
It was bad.
It was very frustrating. And what I think it made me realize is that, number one, you need to have a plan to replace
we started
equipment.
budgeting more for these things. Yeah.
And you get what you pay for. I stopped buying the least expensive tool,
Weekend Warrior tool.
Yeah, and really started investing in better tools. They tend to not break as much. We have some tools that have just been godsends in the business. That don't owe us
that
anything.
Much more, right? It's not like you're paying double. That's the thing, is that you're.
This one was probably a 60% increase.
Okay.
So it was almost, probably 60 to 70% more. But it's still running.
But
that same exact device.
Didn't it sand better too? Didn't it do a better job? Like, here's the thing. You have to consider the time things take too.
Right.
Because him running to the store when he's only got the weekend to build,
right.
Being able to sand faster. Didn't the sandpaper change too?
We did. That was part of the equation as well. We ended up changing to a different type of sandpaper.
We don't spend as much on sandpaper now either.
Yeah.
Or the belts.
I think part of what you're looking at is that you need to do what your business can afford. Obviously, like,
yes, we did just slap it together in the beginning, and you should just get going. Like,
right.
Let's
Don't go into grave debt to try to get your Etsy business off the ground.
No,
but when you can, replace it with better equipment. It's just like, you can buy a Bic pen, or you can buy a nicer cross pen or something else, and there is a difference in how they feel.
Spoken like a man.
Yeah. So to me, that was just like the worst for me, was these things breaking. We had a deadline. You needed to be, it wasn't like I could sand them by hand.
No.
And so to me, that was the worst, was equipment failures that made it so that I wasn't going to be able to deliver on the deadlines and having to chase machines around. And
I feel like other things broke then too. I feel like we're not remembering, but there was more that happened, because that period just remains a seed of stress.
I'm sure that your listeners don't want to listen to all the broken machine stories.
No, I mean, the point has been made, but still.
Yeah. So that was mine. Okay. That was my worst.
That was your worst?
Yeah.
Okay, so this next one, we were talking about this, and I initially thought he was going to tell this story, but he didn't really remember it very well, and oh gosh, do I remember it. And then, and coming up, actually, it's really funny, there was one that I should really remember that I guess I blocked out, and he's going to tell that one next. But, so, story number 3. Earlier on in our business, I basically took any order I could get. If someone wanted to do a custom piece, we did it, and we just figured it out because we're building our shop. That was just my attitude in the beginning. I was going to hustle. So we took this custom order so it was a size we didn't have a box for. It was a reclaimed wood sign that was kind of a vertical rectangle. And it had, we were painting, it was, raw wood, just like our background here. So kind of dark, but darker. And then the lettering, there was a lot of it. She wanted a whole long quote on this sign, and the lettering was in white and blue. And this would make no sense to someone who doesn't paint every day like this, but listen, like literally, when I paint a sign that is black lettering, it is the fastest sign to paint. It is one coat. I am done. There's very little to fix. And I've tried this again. Before you start thinking, oh, this just change your paint brand, I have tried so many different brands, and it's the same for every single brand. Black is easy, done. When you change up the color, depending on the color, like gray takes 2 coats. A dark brown takes 3 coats. So when I paint an espresso brown sign, it's like painting 3 signs. So white and blue, though, takes 5 coats. So each, can you tell I have opinions and feelings about this? Each coat of it was like painting the sign 5 times to paint it once, okay? Because of how many, and then you're doing a lot of fixing. And with, since there was no paint in the background, it was just wood, you use an X-Acto knife to kind of, if you have any bleeds or anything you need to fix. It's just a lot of, have I made the point that it's a lot of work? It's a lot of work. So the sign was breathtaking. I wonder if I have pictures. That was a gorgeous sign, and she was precious. I was so glad to do it for her. And we didn't have a box. He's piecing together cardboard on the kitchen island, trying to form up, and he knew how to, don't get me wrong, like we had done this plenty of times, right, where you were building boxes, we knew how to do it, but the point is it took more time, right? We were working hard. So we ship it out. Sign breaks in the mail. The wood just,
he got bumped or something and it just broke.
Yeah, a huge chunk. It was unusual. It was kind of wild. And I felt terrible. And of course, took care of the customer, and she was fine. I was going to get her a new one. She was super gracious. And so but also I'll tell you, when we do have a problem like that, when there's a breakage or there's a problem that is our fault, we bump you up to the top of the list and we get your sign out right away. We redo it really fast. So we get back to work, and he's got to go build a new one on like a weeknight, because it's not like we had another one in the garage waiting, to get painted, because it was
right.
it was a custom size. I get back to painting it. So it's like painting 5 signs all over again. It was a lot of work.
Mm-hmm.
We ship it out. It broke again. This has never happened before.
I tried to quit.
Yeah.
She wouldn't let me. I gave him my notice, 2 weeks notice, wouldn't let me.
Same thing. So what did we decide? It was like a wood issue, right? We decided it was...
I think in that situation, what I remember doing was I just found a different source for the reclaimed wood.
It was too soft.
It was too soft, too brittle.
And now when it goes in our boxes, they're literally engineered to really protect it. Right. So we don't have the problem. But when you're piecing it together, you don't have the same corners.
I think it was some of that, but mostly it was just I needed to find a different source for the wood.
Did we stop using that batch altogether, do you think?
We may have.
Yeah.
It's been several years, and we've gone through tons of wood. So, I mean, literally probably 10,000 pounds of wood. I have no idea if I kept on using that wood or not. I was not using it again for that lady because as it is, I thought I was going to drive it to her house. And I don't know where she lived, probably Connecticut.
I don't remember. She was so precious and understanding and lovely. Goodness. Yeah, and I took care of her. And the other thing I will say, so in the beginning, I really encourage you, like, do what you need to do to get the sales. Like, if you really want to build your business, take the custom orders, do the harder work. I wouldn't do it differently. But I will tell you, as we've grown and matured in the business, we've made a lot of changes and we don't really do customs very much anymore. Mm-hmm. I don't mind doing a custom phrase, but we don't really do custom sizes where he's having to figure out boxes. We want to keep it simple. We keep it to our sizes. Right now, I only offer black lettering because, honestly, I was starting to have problems with my hands from all the painting, and that's why we've even phased the sign shop back a bit as this business has grown and I can start helping other folks with their Etsy shops and we have websites. I'm still like a huge advocate for Etsy, but one of the things that we've learned through all of this is what do we want to do and what do we not want to do? And I think giving yourself the freedom, and some people didn't like it when I changed it. Like, why don't you do colors anymore? And I just, this is a decision we need to make to keep up with the order volume because we're still doing just as much as we want to do. In fact, we tamp it back so that we don't have to take as many. So feel free in your shop to make decisions and just do the work you want to do.
Right.
Yeah. Right. Okay. So now we're going to go to the story that I have blocked out.
The missing packages.
I do not remember this.
Yeah, so it was a Christmas shipping.
Pre-COVID.
Yeah, this is like 2018.
Is that what you're thinking?
Like 3 years ago. And so definitely pre-COVID. And, you were always very smart about cutting off
I'm not messing with the deadline. I am not messing with someone not getting their Christmas present.
Yeah, it's very disappointing. It's a great way to make someone not happy. And so you made a cutoff of
it's usually
several weeks.
10th of December.
Yeah, and it may have been, it was the last day we shipped.
Yeah, okay. Because it used to be, actually, USPS did get it there in 2 to 3 days, evening Christmas. That's not anymore. Yeah. Not even remotely. And that was even before COVID. So this must have been 2018. You're right.
Yeah.
So
I remember, I remember explicitly taking 20 to 25 boxes to the post office that day. It was like a Friday.
This was before Miguel, our postman.
Yeah. We had no relationship with the postman. If we would have, he probably would have not answered your calls.
No, I think this was back when we had a different person that we didn't get along with.
Yeah. And so I remember taking them to the post office. They literally had a semi-truck trailer that they just had me load them on. At that point, we did not have them scanned. And that was a big learning point that you can reiterate.
So when you use Etsy labels, I'm sure this works when you use the other places as well. But when you print Etsy labels, you can print a scan sheet where it scans them all in so that when you go to the post office, they don't have to scan each one. Mm-hmm. Or when Miguel comes to pick them up, he just scans the sheet and it puts all of them in and shows them as received by the post office.
Right.
Do it. Don't ever not do it. Right. If they say they won't do it, take it to a different post office. Make sure you get that thing scanned because...
Yeah, so I remember you were watching them, the packages.
I used to watch them.
Yeah, and just to make sure that they were getting where they needed to go. Again, you knew
I was
a lot
paranoid.
Of them were Christmas presents. Mm-hmm. And so if they went out on the 10th, we were getting into the 20th. And there was 4 or 5 that had still not been delivered. I think there was 1 or 2 that still didn't even show an initial scan.
It hadn't even scanned. It looked like I hadn't sent it.
And
that's another thing.
I remember you were... so upset about it.
That's why I blocked it out.
You were upset because, and you weren't upset with me, you were upset what are we going to do? Are we going to have to refund all these?
Right. And we didn't have the money.
Yeah,
that was Christmas.
It was right before Christmas. It would
have been thousands of dollars.
And I remember that I think the last one was delivered on the 24th. So Christmas Miracle.
I didn't redo any of them?
You didn't have to redo any of them.
Oh
but
my gosh.
We learned through it.
Okay.
Number 1, don't wait till the last minute to ship things. Number 2, make sure they get scanned in.
Yeah.
But think about it. That was over 2 weeks that you were upset and watching these things. And it didn't ruin Christmas, but it definitely made it so that it was less fun than a normal.
Yeah, it was
and it should have been a good holiday season. And you were upset because you were worried about your customers. Mm-hmm. And I think that's why that one stuck with me, because I wanted you to be happy.
Because I was a basket case?
You were not enjoying the holiday season. So
I think, sometimes those things just happen. And the biggest thing to do is just to communicate with your customers. Right. Everyone was fine. I didn't get a single bad review. We didn't have a single problem because I was on top of it and they knew I was going to take care of them. So I think if there's any lesson to really take from that other than scan your shipping sheet and ship as early as you can, especially around the holidays, just be proactive. I was messaging them and saying, hey, I noticed this hadn't been scanned in yet. I just wanted you to know we took it to the post office on this day. I am watching it. Mm-hmm. I'm going to take care of you. No matter how this goes down, I expect it should be there. I expect it to get scanned in at any point now because they've had it for X number of days. I'm going to take care of you. And just, that's really what people want to hear. They're not even, I mean, they want to have it on time, but even more than that, I think they're afraid. Right. You're not going to refund them. You're not going to send a new one. You're just going to say, well, it's not my problem. I sent it. Mm-hmm. I always want to make sure they know that I'm in this with them and I am going to take care of them no matter what the post office does. So
in a world where ghosting has kind of become the norm, even by businesses, ghosting. That's where I think your communication has helped the sign shop do so well because you tend to over communicate. If there was such a thing,
me over communicate.
If your listener didn't already know that, that was the PSA of the day.
Spoken from the husband. Yeah. But we have a great relationship because I over communicate. You never have to guess what's going on in my head.
Never do.
I do remember in the beginning of our marriage, though, you used to be like, "Woman, I cannot read your mind. I cannot." And so here's what you get when you get that feedback.
No,
so pick which one.
I love you dearly. I love the way you communicate with me. I really
do. This podcast is brought to you by Restoring Relationships. So Restoring Relationships is a ministry that helps people find healing in their most precious relationships. As we grow up, we have all kinds of traumas, heartbreaks, and identity-forming moments that take place, and they affect who we become and how we cope with life. Now, one of the biggest mistakes adults make when they're trying to work through relational issues is they only focus on the problems today. But psychologists have known for years that we can't completely resolve our current problems without first addressing the roots of them, back early on when the first childhood wound took place.
That's right. And since Lizzie and I worked together in various businesses, in addition to being married to each other, we needed to work through our baggage that we brought to our relationship from the past before we could have a healthy marriage, let alone be able to have an effective working relationship together.
So true. In fact, early on in our marriage, we hit such a painful season that we were sure we were headed for divorce. It very much felt hopeless and impossible to recover from. But then we were guided to Restoring Relationships, and also the founder, Dominic Herbst, who's a Christian psychologist. And this program played an enormous role in helping our marriage to heal and ultimately become the most amazing, healthy, and connected relationship.
So true, Lizzie. It's an excellent program. The primary tool is a video series and PDF journal that can be accessed online in the comfort and privacy of your own home. You can go through the lessons at your own pace, and I recommend faster is better. And if you need any additional professional help, Dominic and his team are always there and available for hired sessions as well.
We recommend it with all of our hearts. We've seen countless friends, colleagues, even strangers who read my blog experience real breakthrough in their most precious relationships. If you know you could use some help in dealing with past hurts, or you have a relationship that's in a lot of turmoil today, you should check this out. You can see more about our personal story and get access to the Restoring Relationships online journey at myrrjourney.com. That's R as in Romeo, R as in Romeo, journey.com. And it's also linked in the show notes.
We hope that you will experience as much life-changing breakthrough and healing as we have.
Absolutely. You deserve it. Okay, one more. And, so if you were listening 2 episodes ago, I alluded to this because it was when I'd had a terrible week in my sign shop and I had made a huge mistake and I didn't have time to get into it. So I said, go check out TikTok or Instagram Reels because it was over there. But I'm going to share it here. It works out perfectly because, this was another terrible / wonderful day story situation. So once again, I want you to envision large signs over your bed, 45 by 21 inches. We also make them with frames. So 2 different people had ordered 2 totally different phrases on signs with a frame. Large. These things weigh 15, 17 pounds.
Yeah.
They are expensive to ship and they take a long time to paint. They're pretty easy actually for you to build.
Yeah, they're not hard to build.
Big cut.
Yeah.
It's really, the boxing though is less easy.
And with the homemade or not with non-homemade boxes.
With our box company boxing.
Yeah, not bad.
I hate boxing anything really though. So, okay. So I paint them. As you can imagine, they take a lot of time, care, detail. I'm carrying these heavy things around. They are not my favorite other than the Profit is my favorite. So I get them done and they go out the same day. They are boxed, shipped, gone. Okay. Several days later, one of them reaches out to me and says, "Hi, got my sign. It's absolutely beautiful, but it has the wrong color frame on it. It has, it's painted black and it was supposed to be stained." And so I realize I switched the frames on these two enormous signs. Switched. They were traded out.
We still don't know if you just wrote it down wrong or if I inadvertently switched them in the building process. We don't know where the problem happened.
I know I double checked. I wrote them down right. I didn't check after you went to go frame them. I didn't give you the right ones with the right signs to frame. It was my fault. It was totally my fault.
Didn't matter.
Either way, so both of them end up getting the wrong one. And these things never want to stay on my head. If you guys ever wear those fabric headbands, they're just problematic, but they're cute.
I hate that problem for me too.
I know. I'm sure we could put it on your little. He's got poofy hair. So she reaches out and I'm just like, oh my gosh. And I'm kind of waiting to see what happens with the other. I reach out to the other lady too. And I'm just like, hey, another one of our customers got the wrong colored frame. I'm wondering if I'm trying to figure out I knew it had to be her that I switched them with because they were the only two I'd shipped that week. But sometimes customers just don't even, they were like, I love it. Don't worry about it. And then I'll just give them a 30% partial refund and move on and it's fine. Sometimes they really don't care. Well, in this case, they both cared. So, which is completely fair. It is on me. But the thing is that now I can't charge they didn't break in the mail. It's not the customer's fault where I can get them back and resell them. When this happens, when it's my mistake, my fault, I do not require my customer to send it back because for them to rebox that monstrosity, A, it's probably going to break coming back to me anyway because they don't know how to do it properly. And B, I screwed up and now I'm going to make them go through the hassle of doing that. It's simply my procedure not to. I tell them, I know some of you may think I'm crazy. Sometimes I think I am too, but I'm just like going to take care of that customer. I am not going to I'm going to make it the easiest screw up. They already have to wait on me. I've already made the mistake. So I said, you can sell it. You can gift it. You can keep it. It's yours. You can throw it away. I don't care. I'm sending you a new one. So, but then it's expensive for us because we have to rebuild it again. It's probably the most expensive in the time it takes to paint it again.
And the shipping.
And to ship it again because they are so heavy and big that they're very expensive to ship. So kind of had to take the hit. And it stunk. But the second sign, it ended up being super sweet. So the lady messaged me back and it turned out, so the one that she had gotten said, you, me, and the dogs. Super cute. Sometimes people custom made it to like the doodles or their dog's name or whatever, just cute. And so she said, so this is actually kind of funny because we work for a dog rescue. We have 3 dogs and they're all disabled. She sends me this picture of this dog named Goose who literally has back leg wheelchairs. Like a wheelchair for its back legs, and it's a dachshund. It was just ridiculously cute. Can you imagine? It was ridiculously cute. I mean, Goose, bless his sweet heart. So she sends this to me. She's like, so we work for the rescue that we got them from. He actually came out of one of those big hurricanes, Hurricane Harvey. He'd been abandoned and whatever he'd gotten injured during that experience in his spine, and so we needed this wheelchair. And it's just sad, okay? And I'm an animal lover. And she's like, so it turns out that our rescue is hosting a fundraiser, an auction, literally in 2 weeks. And she's like, this is kind of amazing because now we're going to use the sign for the auction. And I said, yes, amazing. Please do it. Do it in your name. She's like, we'll share your sign shop. I'm like, don't even worry about me. Do it in your name. Tell them if they're going to ship it. I will have the rescue bill me for the shipping. I just like made lemonade out of lemons. And it was super, so she was really tickled. And then I got to tell the other lady, because we'd already gotten good rapport at that point. She wasn't just like mad about her sign. And I'm like, hey, you should be happy because it's going to these disabled dogs. Because I flipped it. But she was just tickled by it. And she got her sign and she was happy. So it turned out super cute and good. And I got, the lady with the disabled dog wrote a glowing review before she even got her replacement sign. She was so touched and tickled. And I'm like, okay, okay, this is worth it. We've had a good day in society. I've been a good citizen. I've made my screw up into like a good thing.
You were not happy before.
Oh my gosh, I was devastated. I was already feeling, I don't know, something other. I think I was just overwhelmed already that week, and then to have that happen, and it was my fault. Not good.
And it wasn't like they both basically happened the same day, because you found out the first one.
So then I knew I had to have the other one.
Knew that the other one was also messed up.
Had to go somewhere.
Right. Yeah.
So I think from that one, I learned that, well, I'm double checking my frames.
Yeah.
Before they go out, big time. But also, I think it was a really good reassurance that, you can make everything turn out okay.
Yeah.
For the most part, like, I take it so seriously because I really do care about the customer experience, and I care about my reputation as a shop. I care about the example I set for you guys. Like, I just care. But you can always turn, like, if that is your motive, you can always turn it around. Right. It can always turn out okay. And even if you get a bad review, you can always put that you can't change. You can always put a really kind comment there that reflects well on you for future buyers. Like, it doesn't have to completely kill you. So.
No. And I think that all of these, I mean, there's so many other things that have happened over the years.
Yeah.
I think you have to have a good attitude about it and just say, like, okay, what did I learn from this? And like, we laugh about many of them now.
Like, what do we need to change? Like, what can we change and adjust? Like, where do we need to draw a line and say, we don't want to do this piece, if we can get around it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I think if, as a business, like, you have to be ready to change, to
pivot.
Yeah. To pivot and to just change processes, change products, make them so that it works better for the customer, but it also works better for us or for you as the business owner, because making something you just detest making, that really is hard on you physically, mentally, or emotionally, like, why?
Yeah. Give yourself the freedom to change. But this was fun.
Yeah, it was good.
Thanks for coming. I know you had to take a break from your work day.
Yeah, I'm sure that I need to go back to work soon. So. But this is a great way to spend lunch. So.
Oh, well, we hope you guys enjoyed it. It was a good time. I hope you learned something. Maybe laughed at our expense.
Yeah, I mean, if you need to laugh, listen to the first 10 minutes.
I know, right? Well, let us know if you enjoy this kind of an episode, and I'll sweet talk the hubby here to get on more often. But we love you guys. We appreciate you. We hope you have an awesome week. Get after those holiday orders.
Coming quick.
Yeah, I know. It's coming in hot. So take care, guys. We'll talk to you next week.
Bye, everybody.
Bye. And that's a wrap on this episode of How to Sell Your Stuff on Etsy. Thanks so much for hanging out with me today. If you're looking for more resources, head on over to howtosellyourstuff.com, where you'll find podcast show notes, all the links from today's episode, the blog, courses, coaching, and more. If this episode was helpful to you, awesome. The greatest compliment I can receive from you is a rate, review, and subscribe on this podcast. Not only will it allow us to connect again on a future episode, it lets me know I'm providing you with value and helps other people find this content more easily. From the bottom of my heart, thank you for your support. Have a great day and see you next time.